Hey guys, and welcome back. Today is the day that we're going to start building an app entirely on Reels/Shorts. So the concept is to just from start to finish go over everything you would need to do to code and publish an application on the Apple App Store. So the application that I'm going with is relatively simple. It's a tracking app where you can tap anywhere on the screen to add a set increment, and you can swipe downwards to subtract, and it's just going to have very basic functionalities. And the concept is just to use it if you're tracking like something for exercise or your calories or grams of protein throughout the day. And then we're going to get into more of the features later on, but this is just a rough draft that I have right now. So I hope that you're going to join me in making this app, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Hey guys, and welcome to part 2, building a tracker app entirely on Reels. So for this app, although it is pretty simple, we're still going to need to learn how to save the data of the user in more than just app storage. Think about the layers and stacks of the app. We're going to need to implement the pages, use a model array probably to store the data. We're going to need a reset button or reset the count automatically for something like calories at 12 a.m. each day. And although we're not going to get into super detailed things like animations and storing the data in a chart or something, we will still need like a help section, a contact us button, and a add review. So all I'm saying is that although the app looks simple, and it is, there's still some things that may be roadblocks, especially for just a beginner. So it's important to know what you're getting into. Happy coding! Hey guys, so today is the day that we're going to start actually building our app. And the first thing that we need to do is make a new xCode project. And in order to do that, we're going to be choosing that we want a iOS app, and we're just going to click next. And then after that, it's going to ask us for the project name, which in this case, I'm just saying is tracker app. It's going to make this bundle identifier and stuff. And then the interface is SwiftUI, and the language is Swift. And although we may use core data, we're not going to be checking that right now. So we can just click next here. It's going to ask us where we want to save it on our Mac. And then from there, we have our brand new xCode project from which we're going to be starting to build our app. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome to part 4 of building a SwiftUI app from scratch. So today we're going to be talking about MVVM. So MVVM is basically a architecture style in SwiftUI in which we have a model which basically holds basic data components together, a view which includes all the visual things like a screen and like a button, stuff like that, and then the view model which holds all the logic which connects the data to the view. So we're going to be using this style in our app, and this is just a rough overview, and you'll see how it works once we really get into it. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome back to building a SwiftUI app from scratch. So today we're going to be organizing our project a little bit using groups, which is basically just folders that are going to house the files that we're going to need for our project. So I'm going to be making one for models, one for views, and one for view models to follow that MVVM that we talked about earlier. Also, I'm going to go ahead and delete the content view because we're not going to need that, but be sure to keep the app main file, which is this tracker app thing right here. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome back to making a SwiftUI app. So today we're going to be working on the model. And one thing I did want to note is if you're getting an error here in the app main file, it's because we deleted content view, so just ignore that for right now. But right-click the models folder and click new file. And we want to make a Swift file, not a SwiftUI file, because we don't have any UI components here. And then I'm going to just name it tab model, because I'm going to be using a tab view, and then this model is going to be used on each screen of the tab view. And you should start out with something like this. So for our model, it's going to be a struct, and I'm going to have it the same name as the file. And then I'm going to make it conform to identifiable, which is going to help when we need to differentiate like the instances of the model or do something with looping and stuff like that. And to conform to identifiable, I do need a constant of an ID, which I'm going to set manually as an integer. And then the next reel will add the rest of the data. Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to finish making the model for our app. So remember that a model is just here to hold all the data that we need together, basically. And so here are all the values that I'm going to be needing for each screen in my app. And let's go over them. So the main value is basically the value at the center of the screen. It's a tracker app, so it's the most important component. The increment is how much we add to the main value each time the user taps on the screen. The name is just the name of the screen that the user can set manually. The background color is of type string right now, although I may make a special way in which we can choose between like a red, blue, yellow, green, just the set background colors that we're going to use for the app. And then the reset is a bool which can be turned on or off to to decide if the user wants the value to reset automatically every day at 12 a.m. So that concludes our model, and then now we can start working on the other components. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome back to making a SwiftUI app from scratch on Rails. Today what we're going to do is set up some more of the files in our project. So the first thing is, for a view model, I'm making a Swift file, which I'm going to be naming tracker app view model. You can name it anything that you like. And that's basically not any like view components, it's just code. That's why it's a Swift file. And for the views, I'm going to actually be making two files. The first one is called home screen, which is going to house the entire code for like the whole app. And then the second one is called tab screen, which basically means that in my tab view of screens in my app, the tab screen is going to have the view components for just one single screen. And then I'm going to use that code to make a tab view so that we can have more than one when the app actually works out. So we'll go into more detail about how this is going to look later on, but this is what we're doing for now. Happy coding! Hey guys, today we're going to be starting to work on a single screen on our app. So just as a recap, our app is supposed to look kind of like this, where this is one screen and you can swipe to navigate between different screens, you can tap to increment, swipe down to subtract, and then you can change the color and stuff from the settings. And so what we're starting today is just making this single screen, and then we'll use that to make a tab view of them later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this text and I'm going to replace it with some stacks. And if you don't remember, a Z stack stacks things furthest away from us to closest to us, and a V stack stacks them from top to bottom. So the plan is that this background is going to be at the very back, and then this V stack is going to house the name and the center value. And the reason I'm not including the settings is because that's going to be over the entire tab view, so we're going to add that later. Happy coding! Hey guys, so today we're going to start making the background of our app. So what I'm using here is a radial gradient, and I'm adding parameters as an array of colors, which I'm choosing as red and blue for right now, just as dummy colors. And then I need to specify a center, which basically means where the gradient would start out of, and then a start radius and end radius, which determines how the colors mix and like when they start mixing. Also, I did need to comment out the content view that we deleted in the app main file, and then clean the build using Ctrl-Shift-K a couple times to get it to work, which happens when you're using the preview feature on xCode. But then finally it worked, and this is what it looks like right now. And we'll change the colors and then make it go into the safe areas later on. Happy coding! Hey guys, so for part 11 of building an app entirely on Rails, we are going to be working again on the background of our app. So what we want is a gradient, and as you can see for that, we need two colors, a light version and a dark version of each color. So to make that, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the assets and we're going to right click and select new color set. Now this gives us the option to customize the color for dark and light mode automatically, but for this app I'm just going with one color in each mode. So all I'm going to do is go to the side, and in the top right corner you're going to see a little symbol, which if you click you can change the appearance to none, and then you'll just be left with one color. Now if we click that square, we'll see that the show color panel pops up, and then from that we can change the color itself. And so in the next video I'm going to be making all of the colors that we need, and this is the way that you can add colors to your project. Happy coding! Hey guys, what's up? In the last video we talked about how we can add colors to our SwiftUI project, and today for our app I'm going to be making all of the colors that we need. So what I'm trying to do is have 4 options for the background color, which is green, blue, red, and yellow. And so for each of them I'm making a lighter version and a darker version so that we can make it into a gradient. Also, I'm going to be right clicking and making a new folder for the light colors and dark colors, and I'm going to be naming them light and then the name of the color, or dark and then the name of the color. And this is very important, not only because the name needs to match exactly in our code, but also because in my view I'm eventually going to be just specifying which color I want, and then it should automatically be able to use the light and dark version of that color. And we'll go more into that in the next reel. Happy coding! Hey guys, today for building our app entirely on Rails, we're going to be using the colors that we made last time, just by using color parentheses and then in quotation marks the exact name of the color in our radial gradient. And I'm also using this opportunity just to go back and tweak all the colors to make sure that my UI looks okay. And what's important here though is that for each background color we're having to keep track of 2 variable names, which is a light version and a dark version for that color. And we don't really want to do this throughout the app because that's inefficient. So in the next video I'm going to be using an enum, which is a short for enumeration, to make everything a bit more clean. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at what an enum is. So an enum is basically a fancy word for enumeration, which is a custom type that we can create to specify data. And this can be declared anywhere in our project. And what I'm using it for is our background color, for which I'm going to be making a case for each color. But the main usage of an enum is that instead of just storing the background color in something like a string, which would be inefficient and error prone, we can specify that for this type of background color, there are only 4 possible case values. And that's a better practice in general, and it's what's more standard in coding as well. And we can also add some modifications to this, which we're going to look at in the next reel to help us more in our code. Happy coding! Hey guys, so in the last reel we introduced enums, and today we're going to talk about how they're really powerful by making the enum that we made conform to 3 different things. The first one is string, which allows me to set a string value for each case in my enum. The second one is case iterable, which basically means that I can iterate over this enum using a for loop, which is going to be very helpful when we allow the user to choose which color to make their screen. And the third one is equatable, which means that if I have a variable of, let's say, background color, I can use a statement like is equal to .green or something to check if those values for that case are equal. And that's once again going to help us when we're going to allow the user to choose which color they want their screen to be. So we're going to expand on how to use this again in the next reel, but this is just what we're going to do for the setup. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome back to our ongoing journey of making an app entirely on Rails. So today I did want to take a step back and explain how what we're working on right now is the tab screen view, which is just a UI component in our app. So what it needs to do is take in information from other parts of the app and just present one screen. And to do that, what I'm going to do is declare a constant at the top with let background color of type background color, and that's coming from the enum that we made previously. And now, as you can see in the previews, every time an instance of tab screen is called, we're going to need to specify background color as a parameter. So for example, I'm just going to do .green right now, which was a case in the enum. And in the next reel, we're going to use this value to actually change the color of the background in our app. Happy coding! Hey guys, and welcome back to part 17 of building our app. So today we have the really important task of taking our background color constant of type background color and using it in our color string to get the light and dark version of our background color in the radial gradient. And to do this, what we have to do is inside the string part of the color, we have to use a backslash and parentheses to specify that we're going to be taking something which is not normally a string and adding it to the string. And then we're going to have to do background color dot raw value. And because we made our enum conform to type string, and we also specified the string for each case of the enum, if we do this in the light and dark section of our color, that's going to make it so that it understands what we're trying to say and it works with that gradient. So just rewatch this if you need to, but this is a really important step in making our app. Happy coding! Hey guys, I just want to make this video to kind of recap what we've been doing over the past couple of reels. So we made this enum which conforms to type string and allows us to specify a string for each case that we have. We also made it that we can accept a parameter of this background color type in our tab view. And so this radial gradient is basically using that value to get the string using this .raw value notation right here. So what this statement basically says is the characters of light and then the characters of the color. And so we can actually replace this with this notation right here, which uses a plus instead. And both versions will work perfectly here because the backslash notation is needed when we have something that's not a string like an integer. But in this case, since it is a string, it doesn't really matter. But I do want to emphasize that this is the same thing as saying light green over here and dark green over here. And if we change this to, let's say, red, then our code will adapt accordingly. Happy coding! Hey guys, so as you may know, I'm building an app entirely on Reels/Shorts, and I've been getting some questions that I just want to get out of the way. One is that, is it really going to be from start to finish? Yes, if you've been following along, you already know that it's completely from scratch, but I'm also going to be showing how to post the app to the App Store, which a lot of people don't. The second thing is everything already pre-planned? No, it is not. I'm actually just making things as I go, and if I make a mistake, it'll just help us all learn together. The third thing is, do I plan to sell this app? Yes, I do, of course at a low price because it is pretty simple, but if someone is worried about copying it, I mean, this is mostly just to help learn, but if somebody does try to copy it, I can always add features later. And the last thing is everything always perfectly optimized? I am trying to make things as simple as possible because it's already really hard to explain over shorts, but I'm not taking shortcuts in the sense that, for example, for everything we just did with the background of our view, I could have just used use an image, but instead I did go with the actual gradients and stuff like that. So I hope that it's really helpful and that you guys are learning a lot, and let me know in the comments how it's going. Happy coding!